What's good? What's up? You already know it's Monday night. And of course, on Monday nights, it's Monday Night Madness. I'm Andre the Torch Robinson, the fire starter in the building, with the guy to my right who was I'm trying to see what that is. That Thanos? My guy got the Thanos shirt on. Mr. Thanos, Mr. Rings himself, Mr. Friday Night Lights himself, Mr. Coffee Talk, aka if you want him to get him to drink, peach something. Just talk about one of his lovely teams that he got in his basement downstairs on the low that nobody knows about that he actually likes. I'm sorry, my guy Marcus the Alphabets. What's good, Marcus?
What's good, family? Look, man.
What's up?
Uh man, what a day. What a day. Uh when you look at everything that's going on in all the sports, we just had the hockey playoffs, we got the NBA playoffs, we got OTA starting now with football. This is like nearly their last break before they come back for training camp, rookie mini camp, OTAs, voluntary OTAs. Look, man, this is big time in sports. We had a fight here in El Paso this past weekend. We had Han versus Holly Holm here in El Paso. Just that was all on TV and stuff like that. So and then the big news today, post June 1 cuts, trades and stuff like that. Teams trying to unload contracts and stuff like that. So it's a big time in sports, man. So we're here. That's what we do, and we're gonna give it to y'all, man.
For sure, you already know what it is, man. Listen, like and share the show. We on YouTube and Facebook right now. Yes, we are brothers. They asking, are we brothers, Marcus? Yes, we are brothers from another mother. Yes, we are brothers, straight up. All right. Um, and it's all good in family. We love sports talk. Is what we love to do. So, Marcus, let's kick this thing off. Uh, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Obviously, we need to talk about the elephant in the room, and that is one Miles Garrett. Miles Garrett. Now, folks, now, right now, as of today, is no longer a Cleveland Brown. For all you Cleveland Browns fans, you remember Marcus a couple months ago when the Cleveland Browns girl wrote me a whole paragraph on why the Cleveland Browns and Miles Garrett was going to stay in Cleveland forever. You remember that? I remember that. You remember that? Remember when she wrote that big old paragraph? It was long. It was long
Technical
listed,
stuff.
long winded on how Miles
Hmm.
Garrett was staying right here in the
Yeah.
good old city of Cleveland. And I told her,
Hmm.
mm, for the right price in the right place,
The
you may
can,
see
man.
something
Anybody can
different.
get it. Anybody can get it. There is a price. There is a price. Oh, we'll never trade this guy. Yeah, I'm telling you, if somebody comes to you with a good enough price, look, and it was time. I look, I understand developing emotional attachments with players and stuff like that, but it comes a point in time. Look, he broke the single season sack record last year, and you didn't make the playoffs. Okay. He's a two-time he's
Not
a
even
he,
close.
he's a two-time defensive player of the year. Okay. He's a two-time player of the year, defensive player of the year, a five-time first team all pro, a two-time second team all pro, and a seven-time pro bowler. And he has, does he have a playoff win? I don't even know if he has a playoff win. So with that, and he's 31 years old. There's other teams out there that could take a clue from this Pittsburgh Steelers, and get rid of one of their all time players that you love so much. That's kind of like in the same situation.
Watch your mouth.
One guy,
Watch your mouth. Watch your
one guy,
mouth.
one
Watch your
guy.
mouth.
Look,
Watch your mouth.
I know you like players
Watch
and
your
stuff
mouth
like
now.
that, but it comes to a point with them where you have to make the business decision. And as a GM, I'm looking at the overall roster construction. Okay. It's great selling those number 95 jerseys. I'm sure, he is a major personality in the city, but you you weren't winning anything with him. You weren't winning anything with him. So what do? You go out and you get max value for him, uh, second and a third. You get you a second and a third for him, and you go get you a pretty damn good player. Look, Jared Verse is an awesome player. Okay, he's an awesome player. Plus, you get more draft capital. Like I said, a first in 2027, a second in 2028, and a third in 2029. You get Jared Verse, who's 5 years younger. Okay, and the Browns have been doing very well. They're really only missing one thing, and that's a quarterback. And we'll see how that goes. But this is also a lesson for those teams that are on the verge. Okay, you're one or two players away. Look, I thought in the NFC Championship last year that the Rams could have very easily beat the Seahawks, who ended up being the eventual Super Bowl champions. You got a top 3 wide receiver. You got now you have the top 3 wide receiver in Puka Nacua, wherever we may put him at. I have him as a top 3 wide receiver. A future first ballot Hall of Fame to me. I think Devontae Adams. He's your number 2. You got a running game with Kyren Williams and Blake Corum. You got the defending MVP, and now you have the defending defensive player of the year. And this goes back to that philosophy that the Rams go with. F them picks. F them picks. I don't give a damn about them picks. I have a quarterback right there. Do you have Matthew Stafford as a first ballot Hall of Fame right now? If he didn't play another game, is Matthew Stafford a first ballot Hall of Famer? In your opinion?
Not.
No.
The answer is no. Russell Wilson is not.
Okay, so Matthew Stafford with 1 Super Bowl and 1 MVP, he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Now, and I did a piece.
No. I said Russell Wilson is not.
Okay, we're talking about Stafford.
Matthew Stafford is.
Okay, he's right there. He's right. I mean, right now Stafford is.
Yeah, he's right there.
He's right there with Aaron Rodgers. Because look. He had 0 playoff wins with Detroit. He gets to LA, he starts winning, wins a Super Bowl, he gets an MVP. If Matthew Stafford, I talked about this a little bit, Torch. If Matthew Stafford gets another Super Bowl or possibly another MVP, he moves into another echelon of players. Now we're talking about the Big Ben Roethlisbergers, with guys with 2 Super Bowls. Right now, Stafford's right there, in my opinion, with the Drew Breeses, the Aaron Rodgers, the guys like that 1 Super Bowl win. If Matthew Stafford wins another Super Bowl, now we're talking about him with the Big Ben Roethlisbergers, the Eli Mannings, the Peyton Mannings, the John Elways, and guys like that. That's what we're looking at him with. So we talk so much about Howie Roseman, Torch. We got to start talking about Les Snead, the GM for the Rams. When we start talking about the upper echelon coaches, we talk about Andy Reid, Andy Reid this, Andy Reid that. We got to start talking about Sean McVay and Les Snead with the coach GM connection as the upper echelon, the cream of the crop, because these guys every year, they are looking to improve their team. Okay, we got Torch, they just traded for Trent McDuffie. They just went and got Watson, the corners. Okay, they go get these guys, and then you go and get a Myles Garrett on top of that to solidify your defense. So I just think it's an outstanding move. This is you GMs out there that are hesitant to give up picks and go get players that can put you over the top, and giving up a first round pick. I'm not gonna mention no names or nothing. But you had an opportunity to give up a first round pick to go get Jalen Waddle, and you didn't go get him. These are the type of moves here, and that's the difference between the elite GMs, the champions, the winners, and the guys that go to divisional round or the AFC or NFC championship and lose, and then are sitting there with their arms crossed. Why did this happen to us again? So you got to make these kind of moves. You got to pull the trigger.
By the way, Les Snead is phenomenal. He's smart. You don't care. You don't care about no number 1 overall picks at all.
This is a guy that got rid of Jeff Fisher. This is a guy that got rid of Jared Goff. Hey, we cannot win with Jared Goff. Let's go get Matthew Stafford. This is a guy who went and got Ndamukong Suh. This is a guy who went and got Odell Beckham Jr. This is a guy that went and got Jalen Ramsey. This is a guy, Devontae Adams, Matthew Stafford, all of these guys, they've gone out over the years. Leonard Floyd, the edge rusher, they don't care. If it's somebody, I think they went like 6 or 7 years, Torch, without a first round pick because they don't care. They don't care. It's like we're going to use every asset available, all of the tools available to us, free agency, trades, draft, free agency, like just whatever it takes to make this team better every year. And damn the salary cap, damn looking down the road. We're trying to win right now. We have a quarterback right now, Torch, that's 38 years old, who's on the cusp of the Hall of Fame, and we're going to give him all of the tools and resources. And can you imagine how happy Myles Garrett is? Y'all do know that Myles Garrett had a no trade clause. So that means he had to sign off on this, Torch. That means he had to sign off on this. Hey, Myles, because I'm sure that there were other offers out there. There might even been a team that was offering 2 first-round picks, and he's like, I'm not going to the Jets. I'm not going to New Orleans. I'm not going to, any Arizona. I want to go somewhere where I can go win games. And if you bring me this trade offer, I have a no trade clause. I'm going to tell you to get the hell out of my face. So he signed off on this. And this is the best team he's ever had, Torch. This is the best team he's ever had. Offense, a Hall of Fame type quarterback, a top 2 or 3 coach in the league. You can't ask for more than that. I can't hear you, family.
So obviously, when you in the LA market, the LA market provides a lot more than you would get from a Cleveland market. So LA automatically is going to sound good. You're dealing with an LA market who doesn't care about first round picks. For the reason that they don't care about first round pick. For the reason that they don't care about first round picks, if I'm the Cleveland Browns, I probably would have tried to get more. I get it. You got a first rounder in 27, a second rounder in 28. You got a third rounder in 29. That's fine and dandy. But for an organization that has been as putrid and as dismal as the Cleveland Browns have been, you need to rack up as much as you can get for players. I do feel bad for Jared Verse, by the way. If you don't know, Jared Verse is my second cousin.
Okay. Well, he's where he was born, right? He's from Dayton, bro. He's from Dayton. But once again, no, he's from Dayton. He's from
Ohio.
I know.
He's from
Ohio.
Dayton is close enough to Cleveland.
Yeah.
Just like Akron is close enough to Cleveland.
Akron, that's
I get it. I understand. Yeah. Regardless of the fact.
Yeah. So this is
just because you go home don't mean you want to go home.
That's true, but like for him, you're going to. Can we agree that the Cleveland Browns are on a the Cleveland Browns are on an upward trajectory? Now, when you look, not only did they get Jared Verse, they also got next year. The Browns have 10 picks. They got 2 ones. They got a 2, a 3. They got 3 4s, 2 5s, and 2 7s. And it's not like they have a whole bunch of holes. If one of these quarterbacks emerges, whoever, whether it's Deshaun Watson, whether it's Shador Sanders, whether it's Dylan Gabriel, I don't think it's Dylan Gabriel. If they just get any type of production from the quarterback, because they're a young, up and coming team, and see that's with Jared Verse. He's more in line with their ascension than Myles Garrett is. Myles Garrett's got what 2-3 more years left, maybe. He's at the end. He's at the back end of his career. You got a kid that's 25 years old who has Pro Bowl, All Pro talent, and he's 25 years old. Okay, so when the Browns finally do get good, and I believe in the next couple of years they're going to be good. It may be this year. They got 5 starters in last year's draft. This year, they draft Casey Concepcion. They draft Denzel Boston at wide receivers. They got Isaiah Bond last year. They got Harold Fannin Jr. You had the defensive rookie of the year last year. Let's not forget that the Browns had the defensive rookie of the year last year with Carson Schwarzenegger. They got one of the top corners in the game, and Denzel Ward. You drafted Mason Graham last year. They are on the extension. You got Quinshon Judkins, running back, power back, Dylan Sampson. You got, wide receivers. All they really need is a quarterback. And now you have the ammunition in this draft. If Shador Sanders doesn't pan out, if they don't get any production whatsoever from Deshaun Watson, you have the ammunition, in draft capital to go get whoever one of the top quarterbacks is, because you're probably going to be competing for it with probably the Jets, who have 3 first-round picks next year. You have the ammunition. If you want a Dante Moore, if you want a Arch Manning, you have the ammunition to go get quarterbacks like that. So I'm just saying that they're the guys that are generally regarded as the top 2 quarterback in the draft next year. They're Hollywood. You have the
names again.
Huh?
Say them names again. Dante
Moore from Oregon and Arch Manning, University of Texas. They're generally regarded as the 2 best. If Dante Moore would have came out this year, he probably would have been the second pick off the board. And if one of those quarterbacks does pan out, one of your quarterbacks pans out, whether it's Shador, who had a rocky start, or Deshaun Watson finally bounces back, and it's just serviceable. You have the ammunition, if you don't need a quarterback, to go get Jeremiah Smith. Now you're cooking with bacon grease, because now you can go Jeremiah Smith with Casey Concepcion, with Harold Fannin, with Isaiah Bond, with Denzel Boston, and now and then Jerry Jeudy. But that's what you got to go along with Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson. So this is
I see you have a certain I see you have a certain perception on old wide receivers.
Jerry Jeudy,
and
he all right. So the Cleveland Browns, for many years, y'all have heard me talk about them and talk about the Jets, and they could mess up a bologna sandwich. They are starting now to show some competence in their front office and look at the big picture. They're playing chess and looking down the road. If Deshaun Watson can just be serviceable this year with the weapons that he has around him, Casey Concepcion, Denzel Boston, Harold Fannin Jr., Quinshon Judkins, Dylan Sampson, And then on defense, they got some pieces over there. Then you got 2 first-round picks or what? Oh, and let's not also forget, you just got rid of Myles Garrett contract too. $40 million a year. And this is why I was telling everybody this on a show. If you watch Alphabet's football show, if you watch Coffee Talk, when they didn't give him his bonus, his roster bonus, he refused his roster bonus. No one's giving up that money. I believe that this has been in the works. I told y'all for a minute that Myles Garrett was like, oh, he's never leaving. Y'all don't listen, man. This is a business. We'll never get rid of Jalen Waddle. Oh, we'll never get rid of Stephon Diggs. Oh, we'll never get rid of this player or Jalen Ramsey. I can't somebody.
Why we got to keep telling people the same stuff?
They don't listen. AJ Brown, AJ Brown is gone, dude. Torch. You hear me say this all the time. If they draft a player in the first round who plays the same position as you, that is not so you can play with him. That is your replacement. If the Buffalo Bills were to go draft a quarterback in the first round next year, as great as Josh Allen is, if somebody's offering 3, 4, 5 first-round picks for Josh Allen, and you're like, well, I don't know if we can win, and we're going to trade this guy. If they go get a guy in the first round, as soon as they drafted Mekhi Lemon, I did a piece on it. You can go in there to Alphabet's football show page. I go, when they got Mekhi Lemon, Torch, I was like, AJ Brown is gone. He's gone. When Myles Garrett didn't pick up that roster bonus, I'm like, he's gone. Oh no, there's no way. That doesn't mean, dude, you follow the money. The money will always tell you what the team is thinking, what their plans are. They're like, we have no intention of, and that was probably what helped him. He was like, look, I'm gonna deny this roster bonus, and I will give up my no trade clause, my no trade clause off. But these are the teams that I want to go to here. I want to go to, I don't know who was on his list, but I'm sure maybe Dallas is on there. He's from Dallas, Texas. I want to go to the Rams. I want to go to the Seahawks. I want to go to, wherever it is that he wanted to go. I want to go to the Houston Texans, whatever. That was part of the deal, like a backdoor deal that they made to make him happy. Look, Myles, we I don't want to pay this roster bonus, because he was due a roster bonus as soon as the league year began, like on April the 10th. He didn't take that money. So I'm sure that they, look, if you don't make us pay this money, we'll look for a trade. Well, okay, I'm sure he was like, okay, that's cool. Don't try to trade me to the Jets. Because if you come back to me, if you come back to me, the Jets will give 4 first-round picks for you. I'm not going to the Jets. Hell, if I'm going to do that, I might as well stay here. Y'all need to send me somewhere nice. I want to go to Green Bay and play next to Micah Parsons. I want to go to the Rams. I want to go home to the Dallas Cowboys, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So this has been in the making, Torch, and I'm happy for Myles Garrett, because now all you people out there, and I've been telling y'all for years, oh no, it's TJ Watt. TJ Watt's better than Myles Garrett. You're gonna see this man led the league in sacks with the Cleveland Browns. It's not Micah Parsons. It's not TJ Watt. It's not any of these other edge rushers that you think are the best. This man, with nobody next to him in Cleveland, had 23 sacks. And they're behind. Torch. Do you remember when they were playing the Steelers last year, and they were playing the Bills, and they were like, what did I say? We ain't taking no sack. I'm not about to be the guy that gives up the 23rd sack. And remember,
either one of them was going to be it.
Do you remember what Aaron Rodgers was doing? Aaron Rodgers and Josh, it ain't going to be me. It ain't going to be me.
1, 2, 3, not it. 1, 2, 3, not it.
I'm like, I'm not about to be a meme. I'm not going to be the one. And they were double and triple and quadruple teaming him.
What you say? They don't want to be a trivia question?
I don't want to be a trivia question. Now, y'all are going to see just how good Myles Garrett is, because now you can't just sit up there all day You can't sit up there all day and double team him. I don't care. I'm not scared of any of these other guys over here because Braden Fisk will hit you, and some of these other guys that they got over there. Byron Young, number 0. They got other guys now, and then they got people on the back end. They just went and got Trent McDuffie from the Chiefs. They got Jalen Watson, and it's like, and then you got an offense now that can give you a lead, and the team, the opponent has to try to come back. They're behind. So what do you do when you have to come back? It's not run the ball. Now that the other team, they got to throw the ball. They're down by 2 or 3 touchdowns, and they got to throw the ball. And now you can unleash Myles Garrett. So this is a great day for him. I'm happy for him being with the Cleveland Browns all these years, never winning anything. I mean, he had individual accolades. But now he gets to be on a real team. He gets to be on a real team, man. Y'all better look out. Y'all are gonna see just how good Myles Garrett is this year. All you Micah Parsons fans. Micah Parsons. What Micah Parsons was playing next to Rashawn Gary. Micah Parsons was playing next to other good players with Dallas, where you had 2 all-pro corners.
Watch out now. Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth.
Myles Garrett's better than Micah Parsons.
Dallas.
I did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I will show you the videos. I will show you the video. I will show you the videos.
This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have to do some investigation journalism
now. I'll show it to you. Look, here's the thing. I do a football show. All my shit is annotated. It's all annotated. I've been saying for you. I said Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett's the best player. I said, argue with your mama. Myles Garrett is the best defensive player.
We ain't arguing that. We ain't arguing that. But don't you try to take away from Micah Parsons now. Don't you try to put
Micah Parsons is awesome.
And the impact that Micah Parsons done had.
Micah Parsons is awesome. Micah Parsons is awesome. Micah Parsons is awesome. But here's the difference between him and Myles Garrett. And I said this because you want to know something, Torch? I stood next to Micah Parsons because guess what? He used to do a football camp here in El Paso, Texas. All right. Micah Parsons is about 240 pounds. About 240 pounds. Myles Garrett is 6'5" and about 270, 275 with 4.5 speed. Okay. He's a bigger dude. And he can stop the run. You know how you beat Micah Parsons? You want to know how you beat Micah Parsons? I used to say this even when he was with the Cowboys. You run at his little ass. That's what you do. You run directly at him.
What's so funny? What's so funny? That'll work in Green Bay. His run defense was a whole lot better in Green Bay last year than it was in Dallas now.
And guess what? And now he's coming off a torn ACL. Now he's coming off a torn ACL.
That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's coming off a torn ACL.
Okay. You know what, Marcus? I see you do this once a show. I done told you about this. You do this once a show. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Marcus. Don't worry about Michael Parsons. Michael Parsons is over here now in green and gold.
Michael Parsons,
he ain't in white and that light-skinned blue, that light-skinned gray and blue that you got behind you. He ain't over there no more. He ain't over there. He is all business now. You don't worry about Michael Parsons, okay? All I'm gonna say is when we play y'all asses this year, or whenever we play y'all again, I don't want you doing the Andy's coming toy store when you see Michael Parsons.
Not worried about it.
I don't want to see you doing that.
Not worried. He ain't playing the first month. Not worried at all. Not worried. I ain't worried about it at all. He ain't playing the first month. You better worry about Chicago. You know the defending.
Listen, you know the only time we worried about Chicago was when Michael Jordan was with the Bulls. That's the only time.
You look worried last year. You look worried.
Worried about him. You're lucky he wasn't playing last year. You're lucky he wasn't playing last year. You're lucky he wasn't playing because y'all would have won those games. Chicago. I see you from Chicago. I know you love Chicago born.
You tied the Cowboys with Micah Parsons. You tied the Cowboys with Micah Parsons.
I know. You know what? You know what's so funny? But you know what's so funny? The funniness that you bringing up that y'all tied is crazy because every other, you know what I looked up to, Marcus? See, this is why you do investigation journalism, folks, and this is why you look up some things. All the great players who left their former team usually have problems beating their former teams. Hold on, Peyton Manning had a problem beating Indianapolis when he left. Not Tom Brady, but you had some other players who left their team who just couldn't beat their team. Just a buzzsaw. Every time they played them, they couldn't beat them. Beat them. But for some reason, Micah Parsons left, and y'all only could tie. Why is it that y'all couldn't beat Micah Parsons?
We just gave you a top 3 edge rusher. We just gave you a top 3 edge rusher. You can't win. We gave you a top 3 edge rusher. You still can't win.
Listen, hey, Marcus.
Yeah.
We usually put belt to ass on y'all. Don't play like we don't usually put belt to ass.
And then you get a top 3.
Listen, the pack y'all right up. The pack be packing y'all right up.
Yeah.
When it's time, pack you right up. Ship you back. Ship it back to Arlington,
Texas. Do we
Texas.
play each other again this year?
You better hope we don't.
Okay.
You better hope we don't. 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 Okay, because we're gonna do exactly what we do every year.
Okay.
We gonna take Dak and that hip sway that he like to do. The little, what is that? Little hip sway. Little salsa hip sway. We're gonna take that. We're gonna pack that up. We're gonna ship that back.
Y'all got some receivers. Y'all got some receivers, don't you? Got rid of all your receivers. Wicks is gone. Dobbs is gone. Y'all got some receivers.
We got to talk about AJ Brown. Speaking of receivers, we got to talk about AJ Brown. So we know what just took place with AJ Brown. We've been saying this for the longest. I don't know why you guys don't listen. Some of you guys don't listen out there in the sports world. AJ Brown is now a New England Patriot. Marcus, your thoughts on AJ Brown being a New England Patriot?
I've been calling this, and once the Eagles look, my Cowboys actually made a trade with the Eagles. Okay, we were at 20, and we moved out of 20 from 20 to 23, and we got Malachi Lawrence, and they moved up and got Mekhi Lemon. Now, there were 3 receivers that I think we had three or 4 receivers in this draft that had the past draft. They had a first round grade on them. It was Tate, Tyson Lemon, maybe Omar Cooper Jr. Mekhi Lemon is an incredible player. Now look, you spent a first round pick on Devontae Smith. And then you just spend a first round pick on Lemon. AJ Brown was gone, and I think it had gotten to the point. I made a video about this. If y'all want to go check it out, I've been calling for this for months. I told you the fracture between Nick Sirianni, and Nick Sirianni has a very punchable face. By the way, he's just, I don't know, he's got a very punchable face. The relationship was just beyond repair. This also goes back to my Eagles fans that I've been telling y'all for forever. Y'all, this is another thing y'all don't like to hear. Dennis Holmes. Jalen Hurts is an average ass quarterback. Okay, this is a guy who wins games by throwing for 100 yards. Okay, AJ Brown views himself as an upper echelon receiver. I know somebody who can get him the ball and who will throw him the ball and give him all the targets that he could want, and that is Drake May. Drake May made Stephon Diggs last year look like Stephon Diggs in Buffalo. Okay, at 32 years old. Now you got a younger, faster, more powerful receiver in that system. Buffalo. When you look at what New England did, look, this is a team that was in the Super Bowl last year. Drake May was in the MVP conversation. I think he came in second in the MVP conversation behind Matthew Stafford. And now they have a legit number 1 receiver. Don't forget, they also went and got one of your former guys, Torch, Romeo Doubs from the Packers, to go along with Boutte and Austin Hooper and Hunter Henry, and then you got in the backfield you got Travion Henderson. You still got Ramondre Stevenson. Uh, this is big. This is big. Because you got a guy now who wants to be that guy, who wants to be, and I think he'll be happier in that system. I think that a lot of the fracture came with Jalen Hurts not being able to get him the ball. And these receivers, because it's such a dependent position, look, I can run great routes all day, and I'm running down the field and I'm raising my hand, and you won't get me the ball. AJ Brown should be very happy there. Whatever you may think of Mike Vrabel, we know the whole issue this past summer. I'm not going to repeat that, but this is a great move. And look, we have an arms race in the AFC East. Buffalo getting a guy like DJ Moore, and then they go get AJ Brown. All these guys with the initials as their first name, DJ and AJ. We got in the AFC East, we got an arms race over there. It's going to be very interesting now when you look at these secondaries now. They have to deal with these receivers now. Don't forget the Jets. They go get Omar Cooper. They still got Garrett Wilson. They've got these corners now in the AFC East are going to have to really look out because look, now you got AJ Brown in that division. Buffalo, you got to see this guy twice a year. They got to see DJ Moore twice a year. And what y'all got over there, maybe Keon Coleman steps it up. So this is a huge move. And look, AJ Brown, if this don't work out, this is all on you, bro. This is all on you because now you can't say no more. I don't have no quarterback. I don't have nobody to get me the ball. They're not manufacturing targets for me. Like I say all the time, if everywhere you go it's a problem, it might be you. I kind of saw it in Tennessee. That was a problem in Tennessee with the Eagles. You're not getting the targets with all of the weapons that they have there. There's a bunch of mouths to feed. You got Devonta Smith, you got Dallas Goedert, you got Saquon running for 2K. Now you're probably the best wide receiver. You should be the best wide receiver on the Patriots. You got to upgrade. I think Drake May is better than Jalen Hurts. I'll say it. You might not say it, Torch. I'll say it. Drake May is better than Jalen Hurts. Okay. And you get to go back with your coach who was with you with the Tennessee Titans that drafted you. So this is a win-win for him. I'm very excited for him. And you know what else too, Torch? I'm glad because I ain't got to see AJ Brown in the NFC East twice a year no more. So that works for me too.
Yeah, I think the move is very interesting. Nevertheless, first and foremost, Drake May now has a solidified weapon for the most part. He can run a lot of play action off Travion Henderson, who showed last year that he has a lot of potential and talent. He creates space for your other targets as well, tight ends. You're gonna have to obviously blanket AJ Brown if he gets hot. He's one of those guys that you have to game plan for. I just thought Philadelphia, in the later stages of his tender there in Philly, used him wrong somewhat. I would see AJ Brown on a slant constantly on a slant, 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 on a slant. Down the field, he wasn't getting the ball down the field like he was the first couple of seasons that we watched AJ Brown be the explosive guy that we knew him to be. So that was an issue. That was a problem. Jalen Hurts being a backpack that he is, backpack, being the rider and not the driver. Yeah. I just didn't understand why he wasn't utilized better, especially when you had Saquon Barkley, 2,000-yard rusher to 1 year. Next year, significantly dropped off. You would have thought A.J. Brown's production would have went up if, Saquon Barkley's production went down, but that just wasn't the case. Again, this year will be very interesting to see what Jalen Hurts actually does now that once again, Devonta Smith will be that wide receiver, leading wide receiver again. We saw this a couple years ago. When that happened, they got bounced. Didn't matter. They got bounced. We saw this year they got bounced. I'm not honestly, if you ask me, I expect the NFC East to be a lot tighter than it was the last couple seasons than prior. I expect it to be a lot tighter. I expect, and this is, I guess this is no knock on the other teams from prior or previous seasons, but I expect Jaden Daniels to be better this year. I expect the Dallas Cowboys to be better this year. And that's just sports talk. You know, a lot of people will say, well, damn, that must have tasted like vinegar in your mouth saying that the Dallas Cowboys going to be better. No, it's just, you know, some of the moves that they made. I see what they're doing. You know, cut off the biggest part of the head of your organization, which should be Dak Prescott. Oh, I'm sorry, Michael Parsons in this case. They cut off the contract, yada, yada, yada. You get some pieces with that information and that data and that money, and you spread that about, and you create what is called depth. That's what teams do, some smart teams. So got to take that into consideration. The Dallas Cowboys have done that. The New York Giants, Mr. Jackson Dart, who likes to walk out certain people, I can give less than a damn what you do this year. To be honest with you, y'all can be 1-16 for all I care at this point. Odell Beckham, by the way, we need to speak on him real fast. Odell Beckham is a jag, just a guy. Okay. All that spectacular superhero shit he was doing was before COVID. BC, literally BC. BC. I know I gave Marcus a little bit of shit in his group, but I like doing that to Marcus anyway. Marcus know I do that for a reason. I do that on purpose just to play devil's advocate. He had more than one exceptional catch, but regardless, that was BC. Before COVID, okay.
By the way, that when he made that catch, that one-handed catch, they lost that game.
They still lost that game. I know.
They still lost that game. Just put that out there.
I know.
You know, he ain't had 1,000 yard season since 2019, bro.
But he ain't lose. He ain't lose when he played against Cleveland when they bust your ass.
He had an incredible.
Now, with that being said, though, he is just a jag. So yes, him going back home, going back to the Giants. Okay, that's good for the Giants. Yeah, yay! But if he ain't nothing what he was before COVID, it's gonna be AD after death. Maybe it's time to retire. Okay, it's time to retire after death. Is what's gonna come next.
Speaking of after death,
Odell Beckham has been a shell ever since. Yeah, and people will say, "Well, who has he played with in those years prior?" Odell Beckham has played himself. Notice how I quoted that, played himself and not played with himself, because that sounds weird. Pause. Yeah. For those who like to say that pause shit. But yeah, like
bro, he didn't play last year. He didn't play. And the last time he played, he was in Miami with Waddle and Hill. He had 9 catches, bro, in 2024.
Again,
9 catches for
he's
55
been on a couple
yards.
He's
9 catches for 55 yards. 9 catches for 55 yards, 0 touchdowns. In 23, he had 35 catches for 565 yards and 3 touchdowns. And that was 1 year in Baltimore. 1 year in Baltimore, 1 year in Miami. He didn't play in 2022 because he had tore his ACL. In 2021, 27 catches, 305 yards, 5 touchdowns with the Rams, and he got hurt in the Super Bowl. That's when he won the Super Bowl, and then Cooper Kupp kept tearing up Eli Apple's ass. Okay, after
he got tore from the floor. Yeah,
and then before he went to the Rams, he played a couple of games with the Browns in 2021. He had 17 catches for 232 yards and 0 touchdowns. And in 2020, in COVID year, he had 23 catches for 319 yards and 3 touchdowns. he is a shell of himself. Like he's probably like what 31, 32, 33 years old now.
Hey,
You know, I mean, it's just
hey, Marcus.
yeah, yeah,
Marcus.
yeah.
Read that.
Dallas at Green Bay, week 6. Is Micah gonna play Sunday night football? Micah gonna play?
Get your ass toe up from the floor. That's the night he
Oh, you
coming
gonna have
back.
to play?
Week
Okay.
6. He
Oh,
gonna
okay.
purposely come back.
Well,
Week
come
6.
on.
Get
Come
your
on.
ass toe up from the floor up.
Come on. Come
Yeah,
on.
come
That.
on with it.
Come on.
What
Come
you want?
on.
What you want to do? Hold on, watch this on Monday Night Madness, y'all. Y'all know we give up a little madness.
Hoodie.
Marcus,
Hoodie.
go ahead, put your money where your mouth is. You want to put your money where your mouth is?
A Green Bay Packers hat versus Dallas Cowboy hat.
Oh, that's fine. I'll take
Okay.
it.
Can we
Let's
do
go.
that? Okay,
Yeah,
let's
hell
do
yeah,
it.
we can do that. That's
By the way, with the Giants, they also went and got Juju Smith-Schuster. Look, all this is this is an insurance policy, Torch. Malik Neighbors isn't going to play the first month. Let's not forget Malik Neighbors is coming off a torn ACL. Cam Scatterboo's coming off of a broken ankle.
Hell, did you hear the report that Malik Neighbors may be taking even longer than that because
That's what I'm saying.
Neighbors having some mental issues.
Yeah. So, you know, and then this whole issue with Abdul Carter, and Jackson Dart, some stuff in the middle of the locker room. There's a lot of stuff going on over there. So I'm not really concerned with them. Now that defense,
I do feel like that division is going to be tighter though than it has in past. It's going to be tighter.
Well, you got a new coach coming in. Look, and we know some of the success that John Harbaugh had with the Ravens, but you're going in with a year 2 quarterback. No real, your wide receiver core is decimated. Your best wide receiver is coming off of a major injury. Your starting running back is coming off of a major injury. Now that defense.
Hold on.
Okay.
You know what you just described?
What's that?
You described John Harbaugh, Lamar Jackson in Baltimore in year 1.
That's what I'm saying.
They never had Derrick Henry. They didn't have receivers when John Harbaugh started coaching.
Yeah. But Steve Smith, didn't they have like Steve? I think they had Steve Smith and Willie Snead.
Steve Smith on the back end after the fact. We're talking about after Torrey Holt, though. Let's talk about after Torrey Holt. I mean, not Torrey Holt, Torrey Smith. Torrey Smith. Let's talk about after Torrey Smith, okay? Torrey Smith.
Now that defense.
Man, I don't think they really have had a legitimate receiver since after Torrey Smith. I mean, we try to pump Zay Flowers up. We try to give him the benefit of the doubt. We try to, but I don't know if they.
But you know what though? That's funny that you should say that, Torch. That's funny that you should say that, Torch, because I used to hear. I'm not going to mention no names or nothing. That Lamar Jackson couldn't throw the football, and he was just a running back playing quarterback, and he couldn't throw the ball. And I used to say, because he was always compared to another quarterback from the same draft class, and I used to say, who's his Stephon Diggs? Who's his Stephon? He's never thrown for 4,000 yards. He doesn't. I go, well, look at who he's playing with. That's when you're out there with Rashad Bateman and you're out there with Zay Flowers, and I don't view Zay Flowers. Look, Zay Flowers was in the same draft class as Jackson Smith-Njigba. Okay. You think he's going to get $42 million like Jackson Smith-Njigba?
Nah.
That's what I'm saying. So Zay Flowers is a nice little wide receiver. He ain't on. And in that draft class, you also had Puka Nacua. Okay, Quentin Johnston, Jordan Addison. Those are all the receivers that was in that draft. So I'm just saying that when you go out and you're comparing, you're evaluating a quarterback. Look at his targets too. Look at his targets. Oh, he didn't throw for this. He didn't throw for that. You know, we did a piece a few weeks back about John Elway versus some of these other quarterbacks. I'm like, look who he's throwing to. Oh, Joe Montana's way better. Well, he's throwing to Jerry Rice. Okay, that kind of helps you out a little bit. So we'll see what happens. Speaking of still sticking in the New York market, Russell Wilson retired today. He's moving over to CBS Sports. I like this for him. He's a shell of himself. Look, he had a nice little career there. I never said anything like that about Lamar Jackson. For your information, he's a good. Oh yeah, that's what all I heard. Oh, the quarterback from Buffalo is just way better because he throws for more. And I'm like, Stephon Diggs in the height of his powers. Let's keep it a buck. At the height of his power, Stephon Diggs, when he first got to Buffalo, was a top what receiver? Stephon Diggs, when he first got to Buffalo, was a top what receiver? When he got to Buffalo in 2020 during COVID year, when I can't hear you, you're too far from the
yard. He was a top 10 receiver because he had 1,000-yard seasons, and on top of that, he was playing on the other side of
Was it Gabe Davis?
What is his name? Why am I forgetting his name
Beasley?
right now? No. Stephon Diggs didn't play next to.
You're talking about Adam Thielen.
Adam Thielen, thank you. Yes,
yeah.
Adam Thielen. He played on side of Adam Thielen.
1A, 1B.
Yeah, he was top 10.
But I'm saying when he got to Buffalo,
he became a top 2, maybe even.
So when I used to say
people thought he was number 1.
In the conversation there, you still had Devontae Adams in his prime, and it was Diggs and Tyreek probably with Kansas City. That's how good Diggs. Lamar has never ever had that.
Ever.
Oh, he had prime Mark Andrews. Look, a good tight end ain't the same as an all-world wide receiver.
Nah.
And you see that now. You see that one team went and drafted Kyle Pitts over Jamar Chase. If you could go back and redo that draft, Atlanta,
the Atlanta Falcons,
they drafted Kyle Pitts.
The Atlanta Birds. Yeah, they definitely know.
They messed that up, and they will be kicked. But look, Russell Wilson's Hall of Famer. I got his numbers here. 16th all-time in passing yards, 353 touchdowns, 114 INTs. He's got one second team All-Pro. Now, Torch, when I ask you this, I'm going to tell you the people that he was going to be competing with to go into the Hall of Fame. So he retires this year, okay?
He got a first-round Hall of Famer.
A first ballot, okay.
First ballot.
No, that's what I'm asking you. Okay, that's what I'm asking you. Now, the quarterbacks that are eligible to be in the Hall of Fame in the next 3 to 5 years: Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Big Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers. Is he better than Phillip Rivers?
Notice I did Joe hip jerk.
Okay.
I did the Dak Prescott hip jerk when you mentioned Phillip Rivers.
Matty Ice, Eli with 2 Super Bowls and beat Tom Brady twice. Flacco's got more passing yards, and he's got the same number of Super Bowls as. So that's what I'm saying. You got to look at that.
So here's my thing. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 first ballot Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Big Ben, Drew, Aaron, Tom, and and Matthew Stafford should be first ballot Hall of Famers.
Okay.
If he wins the second Super Bowl, Matthew Stafford is definitely first.
No doubt. That's what I'm saying though. Like right now, Stafford's there with Matthew Stafford jumps into a whole nother conversation like we just talked about with Garrett going over there. If he wins another Super Bowl, now we're talking about Matthew Stafford in another light. We're talking about a guy, a 2-time Super Bowl champion. If he wins another MVP, like he's an MVP. And Matthew Stafford is top 5 passing. Matthew Stafford is top 5 passing. I think top 7 passing touchdowns all time in history. Okay, so this is what you're competing against Russell Wilson. Now, if Russell Wilson had won that second Super Bowl, Pete Carroll, if he had won that second Super Bowl, Pete Carroll, I will never forgive you what you did to that man. I will never. And look, That's what you'll be remembered.
You could put Russell Wilson over Eli Manning if he would have handed off the football.
That's what I'm saying. Eli's got 2 Super Bowls. Matty Ice has an MVP, and he's like top 10 in passing yards. Flacco has a Super Bowl too. He's got a Super Bowl just like
turn around and when you first beat Peyton Manning, the way they beat that ass. I mean, they beat that ass.
They destroyed him. Yeah.
When you beat that ass and then turn around and beat Tom Brady, yeah, you got to be a first ballot as a quarterback. Russell Wilson would have been a first ballot if he would have just handed off.
But then when you look at the rest of his career, he flamed out in Denver. You flamed out in Pittsburgh. You flamed out with the Giants. You know what I'm saying? So look, I think Russell Wilson. I don't think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think he's more of a he's a borderline Hall of Famer. But he's got an uphill battle because, like I just said, some of these quarterbacks I named that are in front of him that are going to be eligible in the next 3 to 7 years. You know, he's not better than Rodgers, Stafford, Brady. I don't know if Breeze is in yet. Big Ben is eligible next year. Rivers was eligible, but his eligibility got pushed back 5 years because he came and played this year. So his clock resets for 5 years. So you're gonna be in this.
Hard to do that because I'm gonna be honest with you. Reservations.
Yeah. So I mean that's a bit. Is Russell Wilson better than Matty Ice? I know Matty Ice didn't win a Super Bowl, but he won an MVP. And look, he's another one.
He is not better than Matty Ice. Let's not do that.
Eli Manning, 2 Super Bowls, beat Tom Brady twice in the Super Bowl.
Again, I would have put him over Eli because I feel like and a lot of people blow up the whole Eli won 2 Super Bowls over Tom Brady and the Patriots. But I think honestly, if
he's a Super Bowl MVP. He's a Super Bowl MVP.
Brady, to me personally, his 2 Super Bowls would have meant more to me than Eli's 2 Super Bowls because I feel like Russell would have had more of an impact on why they won than Eli did.
Did he though? Like,
yeah.
Look. When they give your defense a name.
No. We're not talking about defense. I get it. So first and foremost, let's not forget that even though the New York Giants did not have the Legion of Boom, they had a front four that was
NASCAR package.
One of the best front fours ever. So my thing is, when it comes to the passer, now I got to look at individual talent. To me, Russell Wilson had 350 some touchdowns and only 114 interceptions.
350, and he's also considered, I think he's like top 15 in rushing yards for quarterbacks too. Yeah, like he's also considered. We forget sometimes. We forget sometimes that quarterbacks. You know, I hear people all the time. Oh, Lamar Jackson, he's never thrown for 4,000 yards. I go, yeah, but he has 2 1,000-yard seasons. He's a these quarterbacks now, the Josh Allens, the Lamars, the to an extent the Jalen Hurtses. These guys are mobile quarterbacks, man. They'll throw for 35, 38, 4,000, 5,000 yards, and then run for another 500 or 600 yards. You have to take that into consideration too. So Russell Wilson, for me, it's going to be an uphill battle for him, considering the quarterbacks that he's going to have to compete against for that spot, because he's got some all-time greats that are going in around the same time that he would be eligible for it. So we'll see what happens. Russell over Eli. Marcus Heron says Russell over Eli. The Giants defensive line beat Brady. I respect Eli regardless. Okay. And see, look, yeah. But again, when you're Russell Wilson and you got the Legion of Boom defense, you got Marshawn Lynch behind you that you can hand the ball to, one of the greatest running backs ever. I mean, you got to take that Legion of Boom, that defense. I've never seen Peyton Manning under attack. That beating that the Seahawks gave the Broncos in that Super Bowl, and I think that's the year that Peyton threw for like 55 touchdowns, and they shut his ass down. And the second Super Bowl that Peyton got, that was the no-fly zone defense that the Broncos had with DeMarcus Ware and Prime Von Miller, and them boys that they had over there, Akeem Talib and them. So, I mean, it's crazy. Aaron Rodgers did his damage with Green Bay after Green Bay. Russell was never an MVP candidate in the regular season. That's pretty crazy considering he was consistently good for a period of time. That's what Daryl Gilliam said. So we appreciate y'all leaving the comments up there, man. We got to look at stuff like that. So,
no question. Now, mark the alphabets.
Yeah.
We're gonna get a little diverse. We got some other things to talk about too. First and foremost, sir, I have to put this out there now. Rest in peace to Rick Adelman, one of the great coaches in the NBA. Died. Okay, played for 7 seasons.
Where would you say he had this? Where would you say he had his most success from? Portland. Yeah,
Portland. Yeah, he took Portland to the finals twice.
That was with Clyde the Glide and them boys up there. They had a pretty good team.
He's won 1,042 games as an NBA coach, 10th most in league history. Only 4 coaches have a better winning percentage than Adelman. Guess who's not on this list? Phil Jackson is not on that list of 4. It's George Karl, Jerry Salone, Greg Popovich, Pat Riley, who have coached more games than Rick Adelman and have a better winning percentage. The great Phil Jackson is not on that list. So you have to give Rick Adelman his props and respect. And on top of that, to be very honest with you, Rick Adelman coached players. I don't know how many real superstars he coached.
Clark?
Superstars, sir. There's a difference between
I'm just asking.
I'm a star.
Okay.
You don't need Chinese dialect to figure out what you're saying. What I'm saying. There's a difference between star and superstar. Okay. He didn't coach too many superstars. When I say superstars, I mean top 30 players. Okay. When I say superstars, now there's a top 75 list. There's a top 100 list, but I'm talking about the very top because he coached in the era where he pretty much, in a nutshell, he coached in the era I like the most. How about that? I'll put it like that. He coached in the era I like the most, where fundamentals actually matter, where things matter.
Late 80s to late 90s.
Speaking of which, paid respect and homage to Rick Adelman, who died at 79.
But also rest in peace. Also rest in peace to Larry Fitzgerald Sr. He passed away today. Larry Fitzgerald, one of the greatest receivers of all time. Used to be a ball boy for the Minnesota Vikings. I think he's going to be in the Hall of Fame here in the next few years himself. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. His dad passed away today too. So,
said it later. It's crazy, but yeah, pay homage to the greats.
Daryl Gilliam.
Before we talk about what did Daryl Gilliam? What is
he
Daryl?
Said, he goes was Drexler not a superstar? That's what I was asking too. Clyde the Glide.
Okay, I said coached superstars.
Okay.
S plurals. Okay. Clyde Drexler was a phenomenal player. Absolutely, he's a.
They played the Bulls. They played They played the Bulls in they played the Bulls one year
Superstar.
in the NBA Finals. I remember
Dude,
that.
you're gonna make me start talking in Despicable Me voice. He was a super villain, huh? He was a superstar to you?
Okay.
Yeah, I give Clyde Drexler the superstar status. I'll give him superstar. But that name some more. Go ahead and name a
I
bunch
can't
of
really hit that
superstars
shit.
that Rick Adelman coached in Portland. Go ahead. You can't.
They were
Just
they were a well coached team, and they
yes, very much so.
again they ran into and look at that time coming out of the West. Oh, Rasheed Wallace. Marcus Aaron said
Rasheed
Rasheed.
Wallace is a star. A star. He's not a
Daryl Gilliam says
Stop
Drexler
that.
will say, "Yeah, he's conceding. He's conceding
Drexler is up
Drexler."
on the upper echelon of stars, which I will give him superstars. I will put him over the hump. But Rasheed Wallace, I'm not putting over the hump. Sir.
Was Adelman still the coach? Was Adelman still the coach when Scottie Pippen went there?
Yes. That's late. That's late. That's very late. But he didn't get the Scottie Pippen that we are.
Because I want to say in late 90s, you had that Portland team was pretty nasty, man. They
were a very well constructed team. Very well constructed. Very well constructed.
I want to say they had like Detlef Schrempf. They had Rasheed Wallace.
Detlef Schrempf.
They were three. Damon. Didn't they have Damon Stoudemire?
Star.
Okay. I'm just saying, Scottie Pippen.
Star. Well, Scottie Pippen on the Bulls was a super.
Was Steve Smith? Was Steve Smith? We got a bunch of. Was Steve Smith on that team?
Yeah, Smith was on the team, but he wasn't a superstar. He wasn't a star either. I think he was a good player. There's differences between stars, superstars, and above average players.
I like Rasheed Wallace. Rasheed Wallace, Marcus, I'm with you. He just had attitude issues. But you're talking about a guy who was 6'11". And when we talk, I'm sure we're about to talk a little bit about some of these big men now, especially we're going to talk a little bit of NBA Finals here. These big men, Karl Anthony Towns.
Cliff Robinson was a beast. By the way, Cliff from right here, from the 716. Cliff Robinson is from right here. Okay, Cliff done through plenty of. Daryl Gilliam again. Bro, you got to listen to what I'm saying. I said
Pippen, Mighty Mouse,
superstars, sir. Superstars. Wallace was a problem. He was a problem. He definitely was a star in his own right. But let me ask you this question. Hold on now. Watch this. Hold on. This is why I get them though. See, when we talk about superstars, right?
Yeah.
So Chris Bosh. Mm-hmm. No. Yeah. Kevin Love. Now we get that. Kevin Love. Come on. No.
But you gotta look at.
Want to know why I say them names?
Because they were number one options at their first team. I remember when Kevin Love was the number one option in Minnesota.
What? Say it again.
Number one option.
Heads of a franchise.
Kevin Love was the number one option. He was the number one option on Minnesota. Bosh was like the number one option in Toronto. But that Portland team, look, that Portland team was like 3 deep at every position. They were like 3 deep at every position. Didn't they have Sabonis too? Arvydas Sabonis? They had
Arvydas Sabonis was nasty.
Yeah, that's what he used to give Shaq fits. And look, this was in the Western Conference in the late 90s, where you got.
Ask Shaq who his worst 2 opponents was. He didn't say Hakeem.
Yeah,
remember he played against Hakeem.
Because Sabonis was a big boy too. He could match Shaq as far as like heft.
Him and Rick Fitz used to give him
Rick
fits.
Smits, yeah.
From Indiana, used to give him fits.
Chris Bosh was
again. There's a difference between stars, superstars, and above average players.
I feel you.
Can't just say everybody is a superstar and everybody
but,
is.
But at that time in the late '90s, Western Conference, and guys, we're about to get to the NBA Finals here, the current NBA Finals, but man, that Western Conference in the late '90s, you had the Trailblazers, you had the Kings, you were with Bibby and the Kings, and Chris Webber, Chris Webber
is
White
Webber
chocolate?
A superstar? Well,
White
hold on now. Who would you take? Chris Webber, Rasheed Wallace? Go ahead, and they played the same position. So, yeah, I'm just wondering. Go ahead. I'd love to hear this. Again, we talk about superstars and stars and above average players. Again, you naming players. You're naming players right now that I'm like, okay.
Tim Hardaway.
Sacramento, Portland, and Utah were all constructed very similar to me. You had a really good core of players, really good depth at the bench position, at the bench positions. You had Mike Bibby. What's the other guy? Jason Williams. Oh my goodness.
White chocolate, yeah.
You had Chris Webber, Vlade Divac. Don't forget Vlade was over there.
Peja
Stojakovic, jumper wetter than a little bit. I remember back in the day playing basketball. We used to say Peja when we hit wet jump shots.
Peja was Peja was kind of like the follow-on to a guy like Tony Kukoc. That's when them European cats and 6'9", 6'10", 6'11" European cats with fundamentals. This was like leading up to the Dirks, the Dirk Nowitzkis, and guys like that. So that late '90s, man, that I don't want to diminish that Western Conference. Again, you had the Utah, you still had Stockton and Malone.
Nice.
Wasn't Charles Barkley on the Rockets by then?
Yes.
Charles Barkley was on the Rockets. I mean, talent-wise, Rasheed over Webber. Webber couldn't shoot like Wallace, but Wallace attitude was a problem. So yeah, man, we just went way back, man. Hey, you want to know who was nasty? I don't know if y'all remember this. I'm gonna take y'all way back. Y'all remember NBA Jam? He's on fire.
Is it the shoes?
He's on fire.
Can't buy a bucket.
Oh man, man. That was an NBA.
I think I got that game at home actually.
Oh my God, man.
NBA Jam was phenomenal. By the way, speaking of NBA Jam, Marcus the Alphabets, there is one thing we need to resolve. I wore a black hoodie. I wore all black for a reason. We need to resolve this. Because last week we got to talking about it and we didn't get into it the way I wanted to because we didn't have enough time. But real quick, before we talk about the finals, let's talk about this conversation that somebody decided to have for some crazy reason. David Robinson and Kevin Durant. We got to have this conversation one more time. Okay. Explain to them why you said David Robinson again.
Look, first off, y'all got to remember David Robinson. I think he came into the league at like 26 because he went to the Naval Academy. That's why he gets his nickname, the Admiral. He had to do his 4 years. So a lot of his years, it's the same thing. You know, these guys that go to service academies, a guy like Roger Staubach went to Vietnam. I don't think he came into the league until 26, 27 years old. I mean, you're basically missing part of your prime, you know, because you're serving, you know, you're doing your 4 years commitment. I think they've loosened up the rules a little bit here. David Robinson, a more complete player. Now, when you look at defense, he carried that Spurs team until Tim Duncan got there in the late 90s. He got hurt, and then that allowed them to get the number one pick, which was Tim Duncan. But people forget how good how good David Robinson was. And this was in the era. See, we're in a different era now. This was in the era of the big men, the Shaqs, the Alonzo Mournings, the Mutombos, the Antonio McDyces, the the Rick Smiths, you had some really good big men in the mid to late 80s all the way up to like the late 90s. This is when he was doing his thing. Hakeem, Olajuwon, Dream Shake. I mean, you had, and this, he was Patrick Ewing. This is when he was battling. You got two or three, really, big guys now. You got Cat, you got Embiid now. Now you got, Wemby, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But back then, every night you're battling against a big man. And that's the way most teams built their. That's the way they built their franchise. That's how you end up getting Darko Milicic getting drafted before Carmelo Anthony or Michael Olowokandi goes number one. Michael Olowokandi or Greg Oden goes number one. It was a different time when people wanted that big man. That was like, you got to go get you a big man. All right. So that's what David Robinson. Kevin Garnett will go down as one of the best scorers of all time. 6'11", 7 feet tall, unlimited range, but he's razor thin. He was razor thin, and to me that was the thing that kind of held him back. Played small forward, but he's as tall as a center. And this is, Torch, we talked about this a little bit offline, positionless basketball, where you can put guys, is he a small forward? Is he a power forward? Is he a center? Well, he's just a forward. He could play a little guard if he want him to. So with David Robinson, I consider David Robinson one of the best big men, of all time. But the thing that he had over Kevin Durant is defense. You're talking about a guy who was a defensive nightmare, shot blocker extraordinaire, right up there with Mutombo, rest in peace. So I would give David Robinson a slight edge defensively. I would give Kevin Garnett for his offensive prowess a slight edge there. But overall, as a player, because there was a time when David Robinson was a hell of a scorer. Plus, he was a defensive anchor to that team. And then later on in his career, a Twin Towers type situation with Tim Duncan, and he kind of took a back seat to let Tim Duncan kind of flourish. Kind of took him under his wing, and he knew, you're not going to be the scorer anymore. We want you to do more defensive stuff now, and Tim Duncan's going to be more of a scorer for us. So I'm taking David Robinson. And I might be a little bit biased because I am a Spurs fan, so I might be a little bit biased. I will never forgive Detroit for drafting Darko over Carmelo. I'll make sure the first place that I play against. Didn't he have a 50-point quadruple double before? I'm just saying, like, people forget how good they were. All of you youngsters out there, you young cats, look, there's no reason for you not to know certain stuff now. You have internet now, ESPN Classic, YouTube, all that stuff. Go back and go look at David Robinson, the Admiral. Go look at him because he was something else. I can't hear you, family.
Can you hear me now, Marcus?
I hear you now. I hear you perfect.
You hear me now, Marcus?
I hear you perfect.
Marcus the Alphabets.
Yeah.
I tell you that you always do this once a show. You do it twice a show sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I respect the Admiral. I get he from Texas. All that good stuff. I get he was a phenomenal player, sir. Nothing but love and respect for David Robinson. First of all, he got my last name, so he got to be great in that respect. But Marcus, the Alphabets, it is time for me to give you some investigative journalism. Are you ready for this?
You ready? Go ahead. Go for it.
So Marcus, the Alphabets, I noticed in your diatribe, you decided to mention all the elite players that David Robinson played against. I took the liberty to look up David Robinson and who he played against. Let's just say the most dominant players, right, in his era, right?
Mm-hmm.
So would you say Shaquille O'Neal was the most dominant center that he's probably ever played against?
Yes. Shaq, Hakeem.
No. I said most dominant.
Okay, yeah.
I'll let you get two players. Okay, I'll give you two players. Okay. So the two most dominant players that David Robinson played against would be Shaq and who else? Hakeem? Would it be Hakeem?
Probably Hakeem, yeah.
Okay, Hakeem Olajuwon.
Okay, and before you go on your diatribe here, where do we have Shaq ranked as far as centers all time? Real quick.
If Shaq is not top 3, you're somebody.
Okay. I'm just saying. Okay. I'm just asking.
Top five. Okay. If you want to top 5, if you want to argue, the Wilt Chamberlains, the Kareems, of the world, Tim Duncans of the world. If you want to argue
power forward, but
then I guess you can argue that. But to me, Shaq is a top 5 all time, right?
Okay, yeah.
David Robinson played Shaquille O'Neal 40 times in his career. They tied 20-20 in their careers. And I know you're probably like, the record, why is he bringing up records and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not bringing up the record to prove a point. But what I am bringing up is that fact that you mentioned dominant players, okay? You mentioned the dominant players, and you mentioned back then. See, back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all on me. Remember Mike Jones? Jones.
Yeah,
that was back then too, right?
Yeah. But I want to say because I don't think that you're hearing what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that playing against elite, I'm saying matched up 1-on-1. I'm not talking about the like as a center, you're playing against another center back then. Every night I got to see Patrick, I got to see Alonzo, I got to see Shaq, I got to see Mutombo, I got to see Smits, I got to see Sabonis, all of these guys. And morning, there were, I would say then, as far as big men, late 80s to 90s was the era of the big man because everybody had at least a serviceable big man on their team. So with David Robinson coming in, and then also, like I said, coming in late to the league because of his 4-year commitment to the Navy, you're coming in behind and to still do the damage that you did after missing your first 4. So you're coming in, you're graduating from the Naval Academy at 22, and you got to do a 4-year commitment. That is a major disadvantage. You're coming in at 26 years old. So think of that, the scoring that you missed out on, the block shots, the assists, the all of that stuff that you're missing out on with missing your first 4 years. This is the same argument I have with Bradshaw versus Staubach. You're missing out on 4 years of your prime, your early 20s that you're missing out that you'll never get back. You'll never get back. So that's my main argument as far as that.
I'm glad that you mentioned that. I'm so glad that you mentioned that, and that's cool, fine, and dandy. Marcus the Alphabets, it's a good thing that he missed out those first 4 years. Do you know who he'd have ran into those first 4 years if you'd have played? Probably he'd have ran into Moses, Magic Johnson, Kareem, Worthy, and all the rest of them. No, you don't want that smoke. The Lakers swept. You'd have ran into Boston Celtics, Larry Bird and them too. We talking about a different era. Now we getting into the 80s, getting into the 90s, sir. I got David Robinson right here pulled up. I mean, I got this information for you. So here's something that I should have mentioned. Being a basketball savant. Yes, I'm a basketball savant. Hello. David Robinson and them back then. Remember, I was telling you the Mike Jones thing? Back then, they
Mhm.
didn't want me, right? Okay. David Robinson and them. And this is why I appreciate, by the way, for those who about to say I'm shitting on the old school, I'm not, because I actually love old school basketball and fundamentals. I told this to folks last night. When you were a center, you had a position that you played. You played the actual position. When you were a center, you guarded an area. Okay. The area that you guard as a center is what? Do you know what the area is, Marcus?
The low post,
Do I
the paint, the low post.
the post, right?
Yeah,
You call it the post. We called it the post back then. But I'm
yeah,
gonna give you official verbiage. Ready?
yeah.
It's from the elbow to the boundary extended to the sideline. Okay. The post area. That's where centers guarded, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you guarded just an area as a center and you played guarding against that center. That's it. In this era of basketball, as a center, you guard the entire floor now because it's positionless. Kevin Durant. And the reason why I tell folks when folks say, "Well, Kevin Durant never won a first team All
So
NBA," the reason for that is because of positionless basketball in
mm-hmm.
which you guard the whole floor.
Mm-hmm.
Centers guard the entire floor. Matter of fact, go ask Chet Holmgren what he just did.
But y'all leave that man alone. That man, I don't know if he ever recovers from that beat down that he took.
See how I got him? See how I just got him? You see how his head went back? He started laughing because he know what time it is. Marcus, in this era of positionless basketball, you have to guard the whole floor. So guarding the whole floor, Kevin Durant doesn't get first All NBAs because you know how many other people in different positions that are sexier positions as far as defensive have to guard the entire floor. 20. Number one. That's starters. Hold on. Number two. Not only does Kevin Durant have to guard the entire floor, but Kevin Durant has had to score almost 30 points per game wherever he has ever went. Wherever. Mm-hmm. By the way, mm-hmm. when you mentioned when you mentioned Hakeem and you mentioned Shaq, just remember that Durant is in the same era where he had to play against Kobe and LeBron. Where do we have Kobe and LeBron ranked amongst
top five? It's players, top 5, top 10, all time.
Top all 5, time, top 10. Ever, right? Yeah. Ever. Yeah. At any position, right?
Yes. Yeah.
You have them at any position, right?
Yeah.
Top 2, 3.
Yeah.
At any position.
Yeah.
You told me Shaq was what? You said he was top 3.
There's some people that feel like he's the best. But here's the thing. Kevin Durant. Let me
finish. Okay. And this is what I'm saying. This is no shit on the older crew. What I'm telling you is that there's a difference because they've lost fundamentals. The MIDI is no more. There's no more middies. Have you ever seen? Listen, you want middies? Go to the WNBA. You get plenty of middies in the WNBA. Okay. There's a difference in basketball style in which now all 5 positions have to cover the entire floor. There's no more I get to sit in the paint and body and do this all day with somebody. There's not that anymore. You have to actually run around the floor. Mm-hmm. You have to be around the entire floor and have to put up 30. By the way, Kevin Durant not only played against LeBron, Kobe, LeBron and Kobe, he played in the era where D-Wade. Where do we have D-Wade as great shooting guards?
Probably top 3 or 4 shooting guards all the time.
Number 3,
Michael,
maybe 4.
That's a 3, 3 or 4. That's what I said.
So when we talk about dominant players, right?
Yeah.
I get the whole dominant thing, but there's dominant players in this era too.
Yeah.
And for somebody who has had to average almost 30 his entire career, wherever he has went, if you ask me, could Kevin Durant, and here's the caveat to me, if you ask me, could David Robinson guard in this era of basketball? We might have to ask that question.
Okay.
Can David
look,
Robinson run around Nikola Jokic? Hold on.
Yeah.
Watching Nikola Jokic on the
Yeah.
perimeters.
Yeah.
Watching Giannis
Wemby.
Antetokounmpo. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Wemby.
Giannis Antetokounmpo. Watching all these
Wemby.
athletic.
Don't forget Wemby.
You gotta. Wemby is. Listen, Wemby might be the. Shaq said it himself, but I totally agree too.
The perfect center.
The perfect center.
Yeah.
Honestly, there is only one caveat that I have against Wemby. You know what it is?
Yeah.
Is that Wemby needed to get in the gym, because if Wemby was in the gym, he'd be Wilt Chamberlain, a better version of Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah, but you're just saying you're just saying could David Robinson play? If you put Kevin Durant back in the day,
right now, that's the caveat. That's the caveat. See, and this is what I told them yesterday. I said that Kevin Durant may not be the same scorer because it's way more physical. Kevin Durant would be on his Twitter fingers. He would be on his Twitter fingers every day, all day.
They would have broken. Yes, you're 6'11". You want to know what you are? You're Manute Bol.
Stop.
You're Manute Bol.
Oh,
that's what you
no,
are. You're tall. You're tall and skinny because you're Manute Bol. That's what you are. So look, just being tall.
You called that man
back in the day, because you know what Shaq would have done to him. Moses Malone would have done to him. All of those guys with Shaq. You would have. They would have just back. I remember Shaq abusing. Rest in peace, Mutombo, when the Lakers played the 76ers in the final. And this was against a guy who was considered probably the best defensive center in the league, one of the best defensive centers of all time.
Right, but see,
he abused him. He abused him. He caved his shit. Kevin Durant is 6'11", 200 pounds.
Right.
6'11", 200 pounds.
Here's the caveat, and this is why I said there's a caveat.
Yeah,
David Robinson would have to chase a lot. Kevin Durant would have to deal with physicality a lot.
That's what I'm saying.
My only caveat to this whole situation is Kevin Durant being 6'11", would be able to shoot over a lot of people back then. The biggest players in that era were like 7 foot, 7'1". I mean, you got Sean Bradley, who was like 7'6", but he was a bum. Manute Bol was like 7.
But because he was 7, but because Kevin Durant 7 feet tall, he probably fouls out every game because they just back him into the post. They just back him into the post.
So to me personally, and this is just me, I look at, could Kevin Durant still score in a matter
when he's getting beat up the entire game?
And I get it. And this is what I'm saying. Could he score in the matter with physicality? Do I think Kevin Durant would be able to defend players back then better? Yes. Because of his 6'11" wingspan at his position, yes, I do.
His height,
because Kevin Durant would Kevin Durant would only have to guard his position. Remember, you're talking fundamental basketball where you're not chasing all the time. You have to remember that. We got to put all this on the Libra scale. Marcus, when I thought about all this, I put every scenario in the basket and was like, which one would I pick? To me, and it's not by much at all. To me personally, I love David Robinson to death, but I also know David Robinson was good from 1990 to 1996. Now, you can tell me about how Tim Duncan came into play and he took the back seat or whatever you want to call that. You know who else was good for 6 seasons?
Who's that?
Odell Beckham Jr. was good for 6 seasons.
But it's
Okay,
but
let's be
also
clear now,
again
because
but
David
also
Robinson
again,
didn't average more than 18 points after 1996.
I got you that. But you're also talking about you hear me talk about eras. You
Oh,
hear me talk.
I
You talk
totally
about
get the whole eras thing.
is Tom
I
okay?
get it.
Is Tom Brady playing till 45?
No, absolutely not.
That's what I'm
Absolutely,
saying. So we
absolutely
have to
not.
take
I
that.
get you.
That's what I'm saying. So
I'm
all
taking
of
that.
these
I'm taking
numbers.
all
So
that
all
into
these numbers
consideration.
that these guys are.
I'm taking,
All
Marcus,
these
I swear
numbers.
to God, I'm
Yeah,
taking all that
yeah.
into consideration.
We're
I
talking
do
about
not
numbers.
think.
He played this long. You played this. You played this long because you didn't play against the bad boy Pistons, who would have uh, Rick Mahorn and all of them and Dennis Rodman and all of them. They would have beat. They
Listen, and
beat
I
up
totally
Michael
get it. And
Jordan.
that's,
They beat up Michael Jordan.
I
And they
know,
made
and that's,
Michael
listen,
Jordan.
that's
They
why.
made Michael Jordan. We just talked about getting in the gym. They made Michael Jordan have to start lifting weights. What
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
Kevin Durant would have
Yes.
what Kevin Durant would have been in the 80s is Chet Holmgren. That's what he would. That's what he would have been.
I cannot.
That's what he would have been. I got you
I mean,
because that's what he just said. They just said. You know what you do? You know what you do to speed and finesse? You know what you do to speed and finesse? You beat it up. You get physical with it. So that would be Kevin.
Absolutely.
That would be so
I agree.
as out of time that David Robinson would be in today's game. That's how. And you're not playing 20. James Harden, you're not playing. You're not SGA. You're not playing all these the flopping and all of that.
Chat. Please don't bring him into the
Okay,
chat.
so I'm
Now,
just saying.
my thing is, if you ask me about Akeem Olajuwon and Kevin Durant, it is emphatically. I'm not even debating. It's emphatically Akeem Olajuwon to me. Emphatically Akeem Olajuwon, because I felt like Akeem Olajuwon played later, a little bit later, and was kind of in the era where basketball started
transitioning.
Transition. So
yeah.
That's why I would say Akeem definitely. David, again, my argument is not against what David has done. My argument is just on the sole principles of fundamentals, athleticism back then compared to what you do now. Like, you have to.
But he also would have. But we're not even talking about centers.
Is funny.
We're not even talking about. We're not just talking about centers. So you have to also look at what would he have done against a guy like Shawn Kemp, who was 6'10" and 6'4", who could jump. Look, let's not just.
You know why Shawn Kemp survived? You know why Shawn Kemp survived?
Because but he was big too. He was a big
athletic
dude.
And big.
And uber athletic at 6'10". So that's what I'm saying. Let's not act like there were no good athletes back then too. And I'm
not saying that. I'm not saying that, but you know that the athletes is different back then compared to now.
But you're a good athlete. Plus you're getting beat up. He's not Kevin Durant's not playing center, so he's going to be playing against these small forwards and power forwards that he would have had to see back then, or Twin Towers. A Hakeem Olajuwon and Moses Malone type situation, or a young Barkley who would have got physical with him. There were guys back then that would have, a Shawn Kemp, guys like that, a Rasheed Wallace that we just talked about. So I'm just saying, man, if you're not playing center, you're playing power forward or small forward, and there were good athletes back then too, yeah. But y'all, I guess Torch is walking out. I'm losing him. We'll shut it down. We'll talk a little bit World Class Wednesday. We'll do World Class Wednesdays. We'll do preview NBA Finals. Y'all have a good one. We appreciate y'all, man. Everybody who came through. Okay, I just lost him. We'll shut it down. Y'all have a good one. See ya.